everybody. Yes, it is still Shabbos when I make this video film, but I promised this morning at the Shacharit service to the English-speaking people that I would put my drasha in English on YouTube this afternoon. So that's what I'm doing. I hope you have a very wonderful time, that you have been outside enjoying nature, that you have been singing, and that you have been good for yourself and other people around you. Most of the time I focused my drashot on the Sidra of the week, on the Torah portion that is read out that day, starting on Shabbos afternoon, and then we read it through till Sunday morning, and then Shabbos afternoon we start another one. So I could have started another one, but I didn't. It's Chol HaMoed, it's Shabbat Chol HaMoed. That means that it's a Shabbos that falls between the real 2 days of the starting feast days of Pesach and the other 7 or 8th day if you're Orthodox or following the Orthodox minhag, the way they do it in the traditional world. The Shabbos falls between the two days of Pesach. Shabbat Chol HaMoed, the normal days of the feast, but it's not normal because it's Shabbat. Okay, and I always wonder about the genius of the rabbis who picked an incredible, interesting piece of the prophet Jechezkel as a haftarah, piece from the books of the prophets. It's called a haftarah. Doesn't have to be only the prophetic books, but it can be a little bit more. But anyway, the haftarah is Jechezkel 38 to 18 till 39:12, and it's a sort of a vision by the prophet Ezekiel, Jechezkel, about a war that's going to be between the people of Israel and Gog and all the people around Israel. And it says in this piece, normally it's translated in Tanakh as Gog from Magog, and then Gog is the person and Magog is the area. In later tradition, in Christian tradition, it became Gog and Magog. And in the Midrash you also find that Gog is Agag. Agag is the king of the Amalekites, and that is our arch enemy. So you see, arch enemy again a war between us and all sorts of people who just band together to get us. But like with Shvochmatcha, just pour your wrath out on the other people that really achal et Yaakov, who devour Yaakov, us. Same word, chamat, the fiery anger, fury. Here also the fury of the Eternal One happens to be turned onto Gog. And it's interesting, if you read this piece, you find all these references or all these associations with the Pesach story, the Exodus story. For instance, I will read you the pasuk in 38:22, and I will plead against him, Gog, with pestilence, dever, and with blood, dam. That are already 2 of the plagues that are mentioned against Egypt. And I will rain upon him and upon his bands, and upon the many people that are with him, and overflowing rain and great hailstones, barad, third plague, and brimstone. So you have already 3 of the 10 plagues that are mentioned in this piece. And then when you go further on, you will find that also it is mentioned that he is Gog and Magog will be will be completely sort of wiped out. Listen to the first sentences, the first psukim of 39. Therefore, thou son of man, he's speaking, the Eternal One is speaking to Jechezkel, to Ezekiel, prophesy against Gog and say, thus saith the Lord God, behold, and I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and leave but the 6th part of thee, and will cause thee to come up from the north parts, and will bring thee upon the mountains of Israel. And I will smite thy bow out and thy left hand, and will cause thine arrows to fall out of thy right hand. Thou shalt fall upon the mountains of Israel, thou and all thy bands, and the people that is with thee. I will give thee unto the ravenous birds of every sort, and the beasts of the field to be devoured. The beasts of the field, here it is Chayat Hasadeh. In the 4th plague, it is Arov, the wild beast. And as in the story of the fight of the Eternal One with Pharaoh, the Eternal One, Hashem, says all the time, I will show that I am the real God, the real one, I will show them my power. And this is what he says here too. All this happens for the for God to say, behold, I am doing this because I want to be recognized in the world. Now it's very interesting that the pestilence is happening upon Gog and all his enemy, all his allies, and apparently it doesn't happen to the Bnei Israel. Very strange. It's a sort of a strange wonder, and of course that is not happening now at all. We have a new plague, and no, it's not saving us. Why is this happening? Why again this war? And why the pestilence and the barak and all these things? Of course, it is seen as a punishment of this enemy, but a punishment never comes in a direct way. Actually, it comes like the corona is not a punishment in a direct way. It is what goes wrong if we don't listen in our heart or in our discussions with each other, or to do what is right. And if we don't do what is right in terms of nature, in terms of relationships, in terms of not exploiting other people, other animals, the fields, if that is what we don't heed, if we do it anyway, then really all these things that are in nature, even the small viruses, are turning against us. What I like about this piece, although you of course never ever should take things literally, this is spiritual language. It is spiritual text. It comes from a different realm where there do have the knowledge about what's going to happen. That's what my firm conviction is. There is the divine realm where there's no time and space, and there everything that could happen, should happen, will happen, has happened, is already there in one space. But nevertheless, you should not, as a real person on this earth, take it literally, unless it really speaks to your heart and you think, yeah, this is for me and I have to act upon it. But that's very dangerous. Be aware of that. And it's a prophet, so you always have to be very aware of that too, because 50% of the prophecies in Tanakh are not realized. So, and you're even heeded in Tanakh not to follow the wrong prophet. But how do you know that? It's very difficult to know. Anyway, what I like about the choice, especially for now, is that it is mentioned that in 7 months' time, there will be a group picking up the whole fields and finding everybody who has died in this war and will be buried so that all is redeemed again in 7 months' time. So if we start reckoning from January, we will be fine at the end of July, and maybe even the Pride Shabbat can happen then. If we reckon from February, then we're fine at the end of August. I think that's pretty, I mean, that's either January or February. You can't even go a little bit further. But anyway, it sort of gives the hope that it will not take long till we really get the pieces together and we will put everything to rest and we will be breathing again in a different space and time where we might listen more carefully to what yeah, how life should be lived for us, for the plants, the animals, the air, fields, everything. And I take hope and courage from that. Good Shabbos. See you somewhere this week. Okay, bye bye.